Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is another roll of 35mm film that I got back from being developed recently, although the pictures on it are from a very nice sunny week that we had in June, and then they are also from very recently in November, so you can see the weather change from nice and sunny and hot to slightly less nice, but with some sort of nice autumnal leaves. You can also see my camera work get progressively worse as I just forget how to take pictures. These are some quite nice shots of some flowers when we got together as a family. We were able to do that in June when I was still pregnant, so that's the other change that happened over the course of the few months in between all these pictures being taken, is that in somewhere in the middle I had a baby. But this was when we met up at like a stately home, one of the few places that we could kind of all meet up during the lockdown. That was kind of relaxing a little bit, so we could still go to public places as long as we sat kind of social distanced. So I'm using my Agfa camera, which is a kind of an old camera from the 60s. It's a German or East German camera. I quite like it. It is quite reliable, but it does have a few settings, and just my general incompetence and my just inability to learn how to use any of the settings means that I do struggle to take decent pictures with it. Also, I do have kind of shaky hands, so I do tend to get quite a lot of shake on the camera. As you can see, this shot and a couple of the other shots are quite overexposed. It was a very sunny day, but it wasn't a white day. I think I probably asked boyfriend to help me with the settings when I was taking these pictures in June, so they did turn out actually a lot better than the ones later on, but they are definitely not perfect because I just asked him to sort the settings on the camera out for me, and then I just keep like that for like the whole rest of the day, and probably until the next time he is available to tell me how to switch them back. So I do like all these kind of pink flowers that were cropping up, but some of these images, like you can see, they're overexposed and they're a little bit blurry or out of focus. It doesn't really tend to give you the crispest image, the Agfa, anyway, although this one here is presumably just me kind of shaking and blurring the camera, but no, it's not as crisp an image as you would get with a good digital camera or a high quality analog camera that someone competent is actually using. But it just has like a nice effect, and you don't really know what you're going to get back, so that's kind of part of the fun, although sometimes it's a bit frustrating because you put time and effort into it, and it is quite clunky and heavy to carry around, so it's kind of a commitment to holding an uncomfortable camera in your hand all day long because it won't fit in your pocket, and then you get kind of blurry selfies back from it that you can't really do much with, so there is that. But yes, so we're moving along into kind of the later summer months, and like I said, I did have a baby, so there is a little baby looking somewhat startled at me holding and waving a camera in his face, obviously. And then as the seasons change, we did start going out for some walks. I started taking him out in the carrier and walking along the canal, which is near to where we live. But as you can see, the conditions outside were not as favourable for analog photography. The lighting is just not as good, but then also I just think the settings that I'm using on the camera just probably aren't the correct settings, and I'm probably just waving my arm around when I'm taking the picture, so I'm not really getting as good an image as I could have done. And this is another picture of baby boy not pulling the most attractive face, but it's quite funny. And then there's a lot more of like landscapes which don't move around, so they are a bit easier to take a picture of. Like I said, I was going out on these walks carrying the baby, so this is a really great picture of me and little baby boy's hat, which obviously is completely out of focus. It's quite hard, in my defense, to take a decent selfie with an analog camera whilst holding a heavy baby strapped to your front, and it was probably raining at the time because we kept going out on rain walks. So this is very clearly November. These pictures actually came out quite nicely. These are the most recent walk that I did, just with the last few images on the roll of film, so they're kind of similar because it was kind of the same part of the walk, but you can just see the leaves on the trees have mostly come off, and the ones that are still there are kind of autumnal, so you can just kind of contrast that with the flowers and the sun at the start of the roll of film. Anyway, that is the roll that I got back. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you've liked it, please like it. If you want to see more, please do subscribe.